Donald was a successful businessman. He had a wife and 3 adorable kids. Donald loved his wife, but one day he cheated on her. He felt bad and hoped that nobody would ever find out. One day, he got an email.
I know you cheated on your wife. The price is $1 million for my silence. Otherwise, I'll tell your wife.
Several days passed, and Donald kept getting these emails. He hired a private detective to figure out who was blackmailing him. The detective looked through the emails and figured out that the letters at the end of each email were a code for the criminal's name. Do you suspect anyone? Yeah, 4 employees might know about it. The detective called them into Donald's office and identified the blackmailer at once. Who's the blackmailer? Is it Amanda, Gloria, Colin, or Ginger? All the letters in the code are different. So the letters in the name of the blackmailer should also be different. It's Gloria. Mr. Carter was a famous writer. He was working on his book in his home office, and he lost track of time. Suddenly, he realized it was morning. He was tired, so he went upstairs to sleep. When he got to the stairs, he heard a sound behind him. And before he could turn around, he felt a sharp pain in his head and fell down. Soon the maid found him unconscious. She called an ambulance, which drove Mr. Carter to the hospital. The police arrived soon after. The detective identified several suspects and interviewed them. I was cleaning the kitchen until late, and then I went to bed, said the cook. I didn't hear anything. I heard a noise at night, but when I went to check it out, everything was fine. That's what the maid said. Last time I saw Dad was in the dining room last night. He was busy writing, so I decided not to bother him, said Jamie. So who hit him? It's Jamie. Mr. Carter was working on his book in the office, not in the dining room. Faith called the police. Her grandmother hadn't answered her calls for 2 days. Faith lived far away and asked them to visit her grandmother. A policeman stopped by and found her dead. Next to her was a half-empty cup. Forensics confirmed she had been poisoned. The policeman questioned the suspects. I just moved here and I don't know anyone, said the neighbor. That old lady seems so nice. We haven't talked for a couple of weeks. I've been abroad with my grandchildren. Oh, I'll miss my friends so much. I was at work and couldn't visit her. I wish I could hug her. Who is lying? The neighbor? Grandma's friend? Or Faith? It's Faith. There's a portrait of her grandmother's favorite pet at her house. Faith killed her grandmother and took the cat home. There was a string of robberies in a small town. Robbers would pick the lock of the front door and always slip away from the police. After a phone call about yet another robbery, the police immediately arrived at the scene. A policeman asked the neighbors if they noticed something suspicious. I was stuck in my bed all day. I didn't hear anything. I was cleaning for the last 2 hours and didn't hear anything. I'm old and hard of hearing, so I didn't notice anything strange. The detective immediately realized who lied. Who lied? Anastasia, Olivia, or old Mr. Parks? She didn't have the key and had to pick the lock. Who are the kidnappers? Is it the woman or the man? The woman says, "Let's go home." The man says, "Let's go to the amusement park." Who are the kidnappers? Tell me your answers in the comments.